Now, it wouldn't be a 100% playthrough if I didn't manage to talk about the palaces. And that's what we're here. Today, we're going to be talking about the Kamoshida's palace, some small tips and tricks. In our playthrough, we managed to go through it in one day. But if you haven't, well, no worries. I do want you to know one thing, though.
Anytime.
You can cheese the shadows, because as long as you're against the wall, they can't see you. They cannot see you at all. So these are the handful of the personas that all of the personas are really good. These three are the ones that are kind of going to be a bit more important. The incubus, the what's his face, and the maid. Now these three are going to be fun because they have very useful abilities. Now there's one shadow that is just super annoying. It is these damn green horses. Now, good news, they're weak against electricity. And if you can hit them and knock them out, you're good. The bad news is that if you do not take them out, they will not only will they attack you relentlessly, but they will keep summoning more and more of themselves. These shadows might actually be some of the most annoying in the game, but don't get caught. Hit him with electricity, and hopefully you have the mana to maintain. Now there are a few lockboxes, and they're not really important in the first part of the game. This one is the most important. This is one of the first lockboxes that you'll come across, and it has a gold plate. You can actually sell it for a good amount, but the rest of the lockboxes are not really useful. So the first part of the playthrough, the first part of the palace is super simple. There's one way to go. You follow that path and you go. Here, once you get to this section, you have to find a set of books. It's past the second or third safe room, and once you get into this room and you take a left, there is one thing. There is a book in here, but also in this room, right next to the book, is this shadow. This is really the only one that kind of appears like that, and these little things in the jars are kind of annoying. They're resistant to physical attack, which is, again, why we want to have one. But don't worry about it. Just like hit them, take them out. By this point, you should know how to. The game will have told you how to hit their weaknesses and how to knock them out. So once you cheese your way and use your stealth techniques to just avoid all the fights. Again, in our playthrough, we made this in one day, meaning I tried to avoid as much fights as possible. But once you make it into this room, the bookshelves are fairly simple. It's going to talk about the males in the volleyball club. That's the slave book. It's going to talk about the females in the females of school and of the volleyball. That's the queen. And then it'll talk about Kamoshida. It's the king book. It's a very simple puzzle, and there's no downside to getting it wrong. You just have to take the book out and put it back in. So once you get rid of the books, you're good. Now there is another lock chest around here, which is going to be very important. It has a bead. In terms of items, bead is probably one of the best. It fully heals you and fully heals your health as well as your SP. But once you get past that, once you get the books, you're gonna come across your first little mini boss. It's the Archangel. We don't know his name, but it's the Archangel. He's a one-trick pony. He's gonna charge up for one turn, and he's gonna beat the shit out of you. Now, this is where the imp comes in, or incubus. He will always do a flat damage, and he will heal you. And if you're at this point, if you're having a little bit of trouble, if you have any of your gun abilities left, go and use them, because he's resistant to pretty much everything but wind. So keep yourself healed. When he charges, be sure to guard. Use your guns if you don't have anything else. And there's one major reason that you need to guard. and that you need to keep yourself healed, because once he starts taking a lot of damage, he explodes. It is very likely that you will wipe here. It is very likely you will take a lot of damage. Once she's dead, run. Run back to the safe room, because you'll want to save, because there is a likelihood you will get caught. And the enemies here they're starting to get a little tougher. These horsemen, they're weak against ice, but they hit hard. For this level, they are level 9. I think at this time, I was level 6. They're weak against ice, but you'll be running low on SP. You'll be running low on HP. It's very possible. Early on in the game, you have almost no way to regain your SP, and if you make repeated trips, you should find ways to pick it up. If you don't, you're gonna want to avoid a lot of the fights until you can get. You'll want to avoid a lot of the fights, or at least be able to have or buy some SP items. But early in the game, they're not worth it. So avoidance is the best way, as opposed to, trying to fight everything. So once you get everything caught up, you save, you do whatever you need to, you can make your way back into that big room, into the gymnasium. If you want to fight everything, you're more than welcome to. But you don't have to. If you just if you follow this path that you see on screen, you can actually avoid pretty much all the fights here. The AI of the line of sight of the enemies, at least in the very beginning of the game, is pretty abysmal. They can't really see you unless they're right in front of you. So that's why you can hide in the shadows. That's why you can kind of like stand off to the side of them. As long as you're not directly in front of them, they can't see you whatsoever. Now, there's a few chests up here. They're okay. They're nothing major. But there is both a chest and a shadow here. If you're good, if you run across and just grab the chest, it actually despawns the shadow. And the shadow is kind of hazardous. It's a few of the maids, as well as I think a few pixies. You can easily take them out, but if you're trying to save your SP, avoidance is the best. Once you get here, this guy, you would think you would have to like either attack him or something. No. Again, avoidance, especially early on, is a best way. And I say this only because in our playthrough, we're doing this in one day. So in one day on 420, the very first day, you can actually go into Kamoshida's palace. We managed to make it all the way through and pick up everything, and take and get all the way to his crown jewel, pretty much. If you do get seen, just run into a different room, run far enough away. It despawns everybody, and then you can go back to what you need to find. Down here at the bottom of this little spiral staircase is the last of the major locked boxes. It actually has it has a weapon from Mona, which is going to be pretty powerful, and actually one of the most powerful weapons at the time that you can get for free. So it's worth picking up. Not necessary, but yeah. Now the rooftop is actually is where the game starts picking up in difficulty. The game kind of expects you to not be here, or not be at such a low level as I am. I think at this point I'm level 7, maybe 8. Again, you can avoid all of them. You can avoid all of these guys as long as you hide in the shadows. And you haven't been seen throughout the palace. You're good. If you get caught, be sure you have a persona who can use ice and enough SP to be able to do something, because all of these guys are weak against ice, and the pixies are weak against your bullets. You can knock them down, and being low level, we can't. An all-out attack will not kill them. But if we ask for an item, we can say, "Hey, give me an item," and then they run away. The item is not worth it, but if we just want to get through here, especially to save, you know, SP and HP, that is a path.
I have something.
Now you may expect that you'd have to go through the door. No, ignore the door because you're not going to make it. It's a locked door. It's a trap. You have to jump on this little thing. And once you're here, you're free. You don't have to worry about anything. But just, you know, continue onwards.
I can see it.
Now that we're in the spiral staircase of near the end, we're at the 3/4 of the way through Kamoshida's palace. There is actually a side route. If you come down here, you can not only make your way to the very beginning of the entire palace where you first came in as a shortcut. You can also pick up a really good item as long as you're willing to take a fight. Now the fight itself is not too dangerous, but you're gonna need your maid. I call her the maid. I forget her name, but she has the ice ability, and again, it's the red knights as well as a few of the pixies. Once you get rid of them, you again get a bead. The bead, as I mentioned prior, will get fully max out your HP as well as your SP.
I have something.
Very useful, but more useful at the end of the game. Now, again, because of the way the shadows move, it's very easy to feel like they're gonna get you, and they will if the alert system is high enough. But if otherwise, you're actually gonna be completely fine to avoid them. One of the few that you can avoid is this guy. Remember him? He was a mini boss, but now you can actually find his weakness. For him, mainly because he's a bird and very much like Pokemon, hit him with some electricity. Either fight him and take him out, or ask for an item. He'll give you something crap, but you'll be able to get through him.
Yeah! Victory!
So now that we're nearing the end, we have one more puzzle and one more sub fight.
Damn it.
Now there are still a lot of enemies that are dangerous up here. Not only can they hit hard, but they start using a bit more of finesse. The Succubi here, which are weak to gunfire, can actually brainwash you. And if you're brainwashed, you will attack your party. If you're high enough level, you can kill your party. You can escape from fights, and the game doesn't tell you how to, but you can escape from fights both early on and even now. It's best to do it, again, if you're trying to get through the palace in one day. These owlmen, they're weak to fire, so they're not as dangerous. They can kind of be annoying, though. They are a bit high level. Now, in order to get the keys, we have to fight these golden armored men. Now, these guys are massive. They can one-shot you. And if they cannot, they'll still do a whole bunch of damage. If you hit them with electricity, you can go for an all-out attack, but you have to kill these guys in order to gain the key. The next set of guys, there's actually 3 down here. Right outside the safe room, that's just below where we were fighting the first one, is this guy. The gold guy will actually come running to you, so you can avoid the other ones if you don't want to or don't need to fight the other, actually very difficult, you know, gold-plated enemies. We're gonna come to our boss fight, our mid-boss fight. We shall call him Mini Mara, and if you do not know who Mara is, look it up. It's the best way to describe it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but Mara is hilarious. Now, ideally, you should probably have a Succubus for this, and the reason why is because she has Rebellion, which increases the critical hit of one of your party members. He has a lot of HP, and he's not resistant to anything, but he absorbs too much. He won't really take that much damage from your magic or your attack. So the best way to do it, hit him with a critical, or try to hit him with a critical, and take him out by an all-out attack. The Rebellion is definitely going to help that by helping along your critical hits. After taking out Minimara, there's not much left to do in the palace at all. You're going to come to the final safe room, and you can go level up, or you can leave and come back and fight Kamoshida. Here you see what I have in as far as my personas. It's ideal that you try and get as many personas as you can and fuse them away to different things. It'll max out, it'll fill up your persona list, and you're gonna need a lot of different types of personas anyways, so do it while you can.
That's right. I'm not like you. I am the demon who rules this world. What the hell?
Now, at this point, nobody likes Kamoshida, and we're all more than prepared to just fight him. He's not difficult, but he can be annoying at times, and he's annoying for various reasons. One, he can heal himself, he can increase his attack, and he just looks like that. I mean, take what you will, but he looks like that. He has a few attacks. He has a single target volleyball attack. He has a tongue wipe, which hits everybody. But they're not too dangerous. He's only really dangerous when he increases his attack. In terms of boss fight, or what you should do, just offload as much damage as you possibly can. He has to hit a damage threshold in order to start up the next sequence, because you can only attack him right now. After he heals, you learn that, well, obviously he can heal, and then you're gonna focus all of your attacks on the chalice. Be sure to hit as hard as you can, and just keep yourself healed up. Once the chalice is gone, the next phase of the fight is going to start. So with Kamoshida's chalice destroyed, the next phase is going to be pretty straightforward, but you do have to be a bit aggressive. After you do some damage, after you hit a damage threshold, Mona will say, "Hey, why don't we just take his crown? Because he has a lot of HP." Once you actually do that, you will lose a party member. You'll probably want to keep around. You'll probably want to send either Anne or Mona, just because you do need a healer, but you don't need double healers. As if you have your main character and Ryuji just physical attacking everything, you'll be fine. You have to put out enough damage, or else he will see Mona, or he will know that Mona is not there. Once you do that, again, you'll still be without a party member, but he's in the next step. At this point, he does gain a very powerful attack. He will say something along the lines of, "Hey, slaves, go bring the you-know-what." And once he does that, you have to guard, because if you do not, even at full health, you're likely to die. Your defenses may vary, but you're definitely going to take almost 100 plus health in damage. If you do guard, you're going to be fine. It went from, here you see that it went from taking 107 damage to about 45. Now he will only use that attack once he has taken enough damage, and shortly afterwards he will notice that you are down a person. But by this point, if you've done enough damage and he hasn't seen your fourth party member, you pretty much have the game, you pretty much have him beat. There's nothing he can do, and once he loses his crown, he'll take a lot more damage. There's nothing much left to do. Once you kill him, the palace will crumble, you know, and you can never come back. So don't go into this fight if you haven't gotten everything, or if you don't think you're high enough level. Once you're about to kill him, go and be sure to equip the persona that you want to level up, and you're done. That is the Kamoshida's Palace. I hope this has helped you. In our playthrough, we managed to do this in 2 days because we are following and doing a full max skill rank and confidant rank. So we needed to do this in 2 days. So if you are following along with this, along with that playthrough, I hope this has helped you.
I've lost. You're through.
So thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this and it helped you out, go and leave a like, leave a comment, let me know how it worked, and of course, enjoy the game, guys. Later.